Hi, Yogis. Welcome back. I'm Kristin, and today we're working on hip mobility.
Let's meet back in our downward facing dog. So take hands down, feet down, and hips lift up to the sky in that upside down V shape. From your downward facing dog, on your inhale, float your right leg up to the sky. And then bend your knee and open up your hip, doing any movement that feels good to you. So I like to do a lot of really big circles. I sometimes get my straight leg involved. Good. Just trying to get out all the snaps, crackles, and pops here. And then on your next inhale, re-extend your right leg straight to the sky. On your exhale, right knee will tap your right triceps. You're going wide outside of your arm. Well, let's try that one more time. Inhale, send the leg up to the sky. And on your exhale, right knee will tap your right tricep. Hold there for a moment. Lift your hips up a little bit higher. And then lightly step your right foot outside of your right hand. Good. So arriving in your wide low lunge, keep your left hand down on the mat and reach your right fingertips up towards the sky. We'll come into a wider variation of low lunge twist. So you'll have to do a little bit more with the inner thighs to keep your right knee tracking forward over your foot instead of bowing out to the side here. Same concepts apply though. On your inhale, you want to find length in your torso. On your exhale, you'll rotate your chest and your gaze up towards the sky, keeping that core super strong. From here, boomerang, we'll spin down to the pinky edge side of our left foot, almost like you would in a side plank, and turn your right toes to face the right. Good. So this already is a really big IT band stretch, the outer upper part of your right hip for most of us. So if you need a little bit less, just start to heel toe your right foot in front of your left knee. Good. And then on your inhale, good. And then on your inhale, we'll lift our hips and reach our right arm forward. On your exhale, you'll melt your hips an inch from the ground, keeping that bottom left leg super straight, reaching your right hand back towards your left toes. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, lifting up, reaching up and overhead. And exhale, melting back down. Good. One more time like that on your inhale, lifting up, reaching up. And exhale, melting all the way down. Good. On your inhale this time, lift up, spin back onto the ball of your left foot, and place your right hand inside of your right foot. So we're coming back into our wide low lunge. You'll then crawl yourself over to the left for a version of Skandasana side lunge. Left knee will bend and right leg will go straight. I'm not so interested on how low your butt goes down to the ground. I'm really way more interested in you working within your own range of motion here. So for some of us, that's going to be hands on the ground, hips right at knee level. For some of us, we'll be able to lower our hips down towards the ground, closer to our heel. And in that case, you'll flex your right toes up towards the sky. If this feels okay, you feel stable, like you can hold yourself here without your hands, then lift your hands up, interlace your fingers, flip your palms up towards the sky, and find a more upright torso here. So think tailbone down as chest and palms lift up. Good. We'll stay here for one more big breath in and a big breath out. Good. Lower your hands down to the ground. Then we'll crawl to side lunge with our right knee bent and our left leg straight. Good. Inhale, move back to center. Exhale, side lunge, left knee bend, right leg straight. Good. 2 more times. So inhale, back to center. Exhale, side lunge with the right knee bent. Good. 1 more time. Inhale, center. Exhale, side lunge with your left knee bent and pause. So for the first time we do this, everyone's going to have their hips right at knee level. So it's a little bit of a higher version of side lunge. Think about aiming your chest, your collarbones, your sternum up so that there's some brightness here. And then take your hands together at prayer at the center of your chest. You'll drive down into your back left heel and stand all the way up into a flying warrior. Take a big breath in, arms are reaching up and overhead. On your exhale, press your arms down like wings and arrive in your warrior 2. Your right toes will face the front of your space. You'll bend deeply into your right knee so that thigh bone is pretty much parallel to the ground. And that left leg will straighten as you drive the pinky edge side of your left foot into the mat. Good. Keep the lower body exactly the same. See if you can lift up the ribs away from the hip flexors and then draw the navel in so that this becomes more strong in the core and less a back bend. all of that lift stays there, you'll flip your front right palm and tip yourself up and back, coming into your peaceful warrior. Re-engage that bend in your front right knee, good. And then see if you can lift up and away from your right hip flexor. It's really more of a side body stretch as opposed to a back bend. Take one more big breath in here. On your exhale, cartwheel both of your hands down to the ground and then step back into your high plank pose. You'll shift your weight forward into your fingerprints and toe tips. Bend your elbows, lower halfway down for chaturanga. Point your toes behind you, 1, 2, inhale, upward facing dog. Your thighs and your knees are off of your mats. And then exhale, drag your hips up and back, coming into downward facing dog. Let's do all of that on the other side. So inhale, float your left leg up to the sky. Bend your knee, open up your hip. Yeah, give it some movement, like a big yawn and sigh open. Maybe some circles, maybe moving with a straight leg. Re-extend the leg on your next inhale. Exhale, left knee will tap your left tricep. Good, one more like that. Inhale, back up to the sky. Exhale, left knee taps the left tricep, hold, and then lightly step your left foot outside of your hand. Wide low lunge will add the twist here, so keeping the right hand down, send the left fingertips up towards the sky. Again, when your feet are wider, you have to use a little bit more energy and intention and focus to hug the inner thighs together towards the midline of your body. Take a big breath in. On your exhale, find the twist more from your rib cage than from your hips. Good. And then moving into boomerang, you'll spin down to the pinky edge side of your right foot, like you're setting up for side plank. Turn your left toes to face the left. And then if this is too intense, again, always modify by bringing the left foot a little bit closer to the right knee. On your inhale, you'll lift the hips up, reach your left arm towards the top of the space. And on your exhale, you'll melt your hips an inch from the ground, keeping that right leg straight and strong as the left hand reaches towards the right toes. Good, let's try that 2 more times. So inhale, lifting up, reaching up. And exhale, melting down. Good, 1 more time. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, melt back down. Very nice. This time, inhale, lift up. On your exhale, it's left hand inside of your left foot. Pivot back onto the ball of your right foot. And then we'll crawl ourselves all the way over to the right for Skandasana side lunge. So again, depth here is not super important to me right now. Hips can be right at your knee level or hips can be down towards the ground. The thing that I'm the most interested in is that the back right heel is flat on your yoga mat. So that is really going to tell you how high or low your hips should be. Another thing that you can do to adjust this shape is to wiggle your left heel a little bit more farther forward towards the top edge of your mat. Oftentimes that larger distance between your 2 feet will just help you get your hips lower while maintaining that connection of right heel to the ground. Good, and then if you feel okay here, totally cool, maybe try to lift your hands up and off of the ground. Maybe interlace your fingers webbing to webbing and then flip your palms up so that they face the sky, reaching your palms up and overhead. Good. So this will create a little bit more verticality in your torso, chest, crown of head, reaching up as tailbone and right heel lengthen down towards the ground. Take 1 more big breath in. On your exhale, both hands will come back down to the ground, and then inhale, we'll start to crawl ourselves through center. Exhale, we'll arrive in side lunge on the other side with our left knee bent and our right leg straight. Good. Inhale, crawl back through center. Exhale, bend into the right knee, side lunge on the right side. Good. Let's do 2 more like that. So inhale, crawling through center. Exhale, bending the left knee. 1 more time, inhale through center. Exhale, bending the right knee and pause. So again, first time on this side, we want to have the hips a little bit higher, so right around knee level. Good. Hands will come to prayer, heart center. Drive your right heel into the mat on your inhale. Stand up to flying warrior, so both legs straight, arms are reaching up and overhead. On your exhale, it's warrior 2 to the front of your space. You'll press your arms down like wings. Make sure that the left toes are facing really forward as opposed to turning in as they might sometimes. And then you'll bend your left knee so that the thigh bone comes pretty close to parallel to the yoga mat. Keep all of that happening in the lower body. And your inhale, you'll flip your front left palm, tip yourself up and back, coming into your peaceful warrior. So again, just notice if there was that slight straightening of the left knee. See if you can bend a little bit deeper as your anchor, and then lift up and out of the hip flexor. Good, take one more big in. On your exhale, cartwheel your hands down to the ground, and then move through your vinyasa. So it might be a three-legged vinyasa with the left leg floating off of the mat. We'll arrive in our downward facing dog. Good, and then let's just take this a little bit faster and add in some more hip mobility exercises. So on the inhale, it's right leg up to the sky, down dog split. Exhale, right knee taps your right tricep. Step your foot outside of your hand. On your inhale, left hand stays down, right fingertips will go up towards the sky. We're coming into a low lunge twist. And then on your exhale, spin the pinky edge side of left foot down as you turn right toes to the right, boomerang. Melt your hips an inch from the ground as you reach the right fingertips back. Good, inhale, lift up, reach the right arm forward. One more time, exhale, melt your hips down. Good, this time inhale, lifting up. Right hand goes back inside of the right foot, and you'll crawl yourself all the way over to the left into your Skandasana side lunge, and then we'll pause here. Great, so second time we're here on this side for the holds. See if you can get your hips a little bit lower. Really nice. And then some of us are going to take our hands and crawl them a little bit more farther forward in front of your hips. Eventually, all of us are going to slowly lower our butts down to the ground, and you can totally use your hands to help you do that. Might also be helpful to put your hands on blocks so that the ground comes up to you, and you can gently lower your seat as opposed to collapse onto the ground. From here, you'll take that left knee and just internally rotate it so that the left knee finds the yoga mat. Good. Notice that the right leg is still straight. Square your torso towards the right leg. Then bend your right knee in half, kind of like you would setting up a pigeon pose. We call this shape in our body 90-90 because you've got two 90-degree angles going on, both in your right knee and in your left knee. So wiggle your left knee back just a little bit so that the left knee stays in line with your hip, and then wiggle your left heel out to the left so that your heel stays in line with your knee. From here, really important to keep the torso upright. So I like to take my hands pretty wide on the ground and tent my fingertips there to give myself a little bit of a lift in the chest so that my spine stays pretty much vertical. This next exercise is super challenging. We're starting to turn on some muscles in our body that most of us never use. Keeping your fingertips connected to the ground, flex your left foot and just lift your left heel up an inch. I say just, but it's actually super hard to do that. And then lower your left heel back down to the ground. Good, let's try that 2 more times. So on the inhale, lift your left heel up. Yeah, this is pretty extreme internal rotation, which is not a movement pattern that happens often naturally. And then exhale, lower the left heel back down. Good, one more time, lift the left heel up and pause here. Okay, so core has got to be strong. We're tenting the fingertips on the ground. I'd like you to see if you can also lift your left knee up and off of the mat. Yeah, and float it there. So at this point, most people get a huge cramp, like in the upper outer part of their left hip. Totally normal. Know that eventually that does go away. Good, and then start to take that left knee all the way forward into your chest and extend that left leg straight. We'll bring the right sole of the foot on the ground and point our right knee up. Good, really nice, guys. Awesome, so from here, if you need to, totally cool to tap your left toes down to the ground, but we're all going to come up into Navasana. So some of us will keep our left leg lifted and just let the right leg join. Some of us will tap our 2 toes down to the ground and then draw both of our knees up into Navasana boat pose together. Inner thighs are still squeezing, chest is still lifted, nice and proud. On your next inhale, we'll lower ourselves down to that Ardha Navasana, holding here for 3. Holding here for 2. On your backs on 1, hug the knees to the chest and start to rock and roll up and down the length of your spine. Good. From here, we'll either go through a chair pose to a vinyasa, or for those of us who are looking for a little bit more advanced, you'll plant the soles of your feet on your mat, hands will come down, and then you'll shoot back into chaturanga. Heart will go up towards the sky on your inhale, and hips will go up to the sky on the exhale, coming into downward facing dog. Nicely done. So let's hit all of that, but on the second side. Inhale, float your left leg up to the sky. On your exhale, left knee taps your left tricep. Step your foot outside of your hand. Keep your right hand down onto the ground. On the inhale, left fingertips will sweep up, coming into your wide variation of low lunge twist. And then on your exhale, melting into your boomerang, spin to the pinky edge side of your right foot. Good. Turn your left toes to the left. Melt your hips an inch from the ground as you reach your left arm back. Good. Inhale, lift the hips, reach the left arm forward, up and over. Exhale, melting down. Good. This time, inhale, lifting up. On your exhale, left hand down, start to crawl all the way over to your right for Skandasana side lunge. So again, we know that eventually we're going to come to a seated position on the ground. It might help us to wiggle our left heel forward so that we've got a little bit more space between our feet. Good. And then hands might come down to the ground in front of you. Super slowly start to lower your butt all the way down so that you come seated. Great. And then we'll find that internal rotation for the right leg. So start to internally rotate the right knee, dropping the right knee forward and down to the ground. From here, square your torso off to your left leg and then bend your left knee in half, creating that 90-90 again with both our left leg and our right leg. Just take a look behind you at your right knee for a moment. Make sure that it's in line with your right hip and that the right heel comes in line with your right knee. From here, we'll turn our torso back forwards, tent our fingertips onto the ground, and sit up really nice and tall here. So verticality in the spine, really strong engagement in the core, navel in, knit the ribs together. Then keeping the fingertips tented on the ground, let's go for that outer glute strengthener. So lift the right heel up and off of the mat. Good, and then lower back down. Nice, let's do that 2 more times. So if you're one of those people who are experiencing a cramp right now, it is totally normal. Know that most of the time cramps are just our mind and our muscle trying to have a more intelligent conversation. It's like if your brain could speak level 4 Spanish and your glute could only speak level 1, there's a little bit of a miscommunication that's happening. So we're just trying to increase the vocabulary of the hip to meet the brain. Good. Keep the heel up. Float your right knee up as well. Yes, I know it's so hard. And then draw your right knee all the way forward and up to your chest. Good. Left foot will find the floor as left knee points up to the sky. Again, you can either tap your right toes down to the ground, or my challengers are going to try to keep that right leg lifted and float the left leg in line with it, coming into Navasana boat pose. Good. On your inhale, lower yourself down to Ardha Navasana. We'll hold here for 3. Hold here for 2, and you're down on 1, knees into your chest. Start to build some momentum here. So rock and rolling up and down the length of your spine. Again, you can either find chair pose or plant your hands and jump right back through your vinyasa. Heart will go up towards the sky as you breathe in, and hips will go up to the sky as you breathe out. You're in downward facing dog. Nicely done. Let's find 2 breaths here. Nice job today. I hope you guys are feeling rested and restored. Hip flexors are feeling a little bit more open. IT band's got a good stretch. Remember, if you like this video, subscribe and I'll get more out to you soon. Have a great day.